Will the Bitcoin Spot ETF get approved this week or next week? What does this gonna mean for the price? All the insider info for you in this video. Hey and welcome, and hope you're doing well. My name is Julian. I am just leaving the office, driving home, need to get ready for another call. And I thought on that way, let's discuss a topic that many people have as a question, especially this week. That is the Bitcoin Spot ETF. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is the latest day that the SEC has an announcement or has a possible feedback on the Bitwise. Next week, Wednesday, then the big news, which is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. A lot of people waiting for that one. Let's structure this video a bit. First, let's talk quickly about the difference of a spot ETF and a futures ETF. Talk about the probabilities of these ETFs getting approved and why these probabilities are there. And then let's talk about the various impacts on the price. So, spot ETF means that the ETF as a wrapper actually owns underlying Bitcoins. This is very different to futures ETFs where you basically make bets on the future. And I discussed this several times already, why I think a spot ETF, despite the SEC saying that Bitcoin is seen as a commodity, is still very unlikely. And that for me simply means because Bitcoin Spot is not traded on any large regulated platform in the US. On the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, only futures are traded. And Coinbase is not regulated by the SEC from an exchange perspective. And so for me, the entire kind of perspective there is very unlikely that either tomorrow Bitwise and also Grayscale are going to be approved. If it were, I think we would see it a bit in the so-called discount in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That discount is pretty much at an all-time high. I think it's trading at 33% at the moment discount. So that means if you were to buy Bitcoin in that Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and Grayscale Bitcoin Trust would get to parity to Bitcoin, you would actually get a 50% increase just from the current price. And we're going to discuss why actually this discount exists and what could this actually mean. So if all your hopes are that this Bitcoin Spot ETF actually gets approved, I would say probably the probability are in the single-digit percentages here. And I know that people are all like complaining, and Grayscale has threatened to take legal action against the SEC, and I believe all that. Nevertheless, I would still be very cautious in betting on a spot ETF being approved. However, if it were approved, in my opinion, this would actually be quite bearish for the price. And I know this may be a surprise to some of you, because many people would say, why? Because a spot ETF would be so amazing, it would have such good marketing, and so many more people could then be investing. And these are all true statements. However, at the moment, there's about $10 billion in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust that actually want to get out of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Otherwise, that discount wouldn't be there. And that discount happens because it's a closed-end fund, meaning there's no arbitrage possibility to arbitrage between Grayscale and actual Bitcoin. Grayscale itself could arbitrage. They're not arbitraging, though, because of two reasons. First of all, they know that they would crash the Bitcoin price if they would arbitrage it, because they would have billions and billions and billions of dollars. Basically, a lot of those billions of dollars that flowed into Bitcoin in Q1 2021 that actually was massively involved in increasing the Bitcoin price to $60,000, a lot of those billions of dollars want to get out again. Otherwise, that discount wouldn't be there. And at the moment, getting those dollars out would be quite bearish for the entire price. The other reason is, and so they're going to wait until they would see some demand on the counter side so that they can actually sell those Bitcoins to people who come in with all the hype. The other reason is that Grayscale gets 2% on AUM, assets under management. So any kind of AUM they're taking out, they're making less money. And 2% on $10 billion is $20 million a year. So actually more, it's $200 million, right? Yeah. Wow. So $200 million. Nice. So 200. I'm just realizing that. So that's $200 million a year that Grayscale would be giving up? I don't know. Are you willing to give up $200 million a year simply by arbitraging something out that actually has a negative effect on the price? Not sure. So that's why Grayscale right now is not arbitraging the Bitcoin trust. If that trust turns into an ETF, it would be arbitrageable by anyone. And what would happen instantly? Everyone, including people who could do this, who would know about this, so as soon as there would be a strong probability that the Bitcoin trust gets converted to a spot ETF, anyone would buy the Grayscale trust at 33% discount and at the same time sell Bitcoin short, because you would have a net 33% return measured in dollars. Is this risk-free? At the moment, there's a risk because you don't know when the conversion actually can happen, because you then need to convert one GBTC into one actual BTC, and then you counter that with the short sold BTC that you sold prior. And so many people then believe, well, this would increase the price because people would buy GBTC. Yes, but by how much? Just because you're lifting the discount doesn't necessarily mean you increase the Bitcoin price. Actually, the Bitcoin price would get sold short. So you probably would need somewhere in the middle. And so if you look at GBTC trading at 33% discount, you could easily imagine that the $10 billion that would sell Bitcoin could easily take the price down 10-15% from right now. And then obviously you would have additional momentum, and a lot of this selling would happen relatively quickly and relatively aggressively. So obviously that is countered by institutions and fans of Bitcoin that come in and say, now I'm going to buy the Bitcoin either ETF, or I'm going to buy Bitcoin because this is massive. But there's always this big question, who would buy the spot ETF that hasn't already invested in Bitcoin via other ways, either via the futures ETF or via other exposures via MicroStrategy, or actually owns physical Bitcoins? Who are those people, right? Where's this purchase power? So sure, this will be some purchase power, but will this be $10 billion on the first day that's getting short sold? I'm not sure. I don't know how sure you are. And so obviously that would definitely have a price dip, especially in the first couple of weeks, at least in my opinion. And then over the long run, this is obviously bullish and very fundamentally strong. But this always takes months, and such a spot ETF could be bearish in the first couple of weeks. So I personally think these are not things we actually have to worry about, because I doubt this year we're going to see a spot ETF. It's going to be declined. Grayscale is going to go into a legal battle with the SEC. That legal battle is going to get resolved by itself, simply by some exchanges actually getting regulated, Coinbase being a prime example there. I wouldn't see why Coinbase wouldn't go that route. It would be such a strong, unique selling point for Coinbase in the US. And then the spot ETF probably is going to get approved next year. And then by that time, let's see if Grayscale until then actually arbitrages that discount, or if they're like, hey, I'm not going to give up my $200 million a year, which I actually think they're not going to give up. And yeah, so I would expect this discount to last, and this discount gets worse and worse and worse the more people want to actually get out. And so then we're going to have to deal with this issue next year. But maybe by that time, we're going to have a very bullish sentiment, and then maybe that discount kind of gets balanced out a bit, or is not even as problematic as it is right now. Let me know your thoughts on the Bitcoin Spot ETF. Do you think that is going to be bullish? Do you think it's going to be bearish? Do you think it's actually going to happen? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any questions regarding any of those things, then obviously let me know as well. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing, give me a like, and share with others. All the best in the meantime. Take care, stay safe. Yours truly, Julian. Bye-bye.